Ladies and gentlemen, warm welcome to the presentation of 2G Energy. First of all, I need to explain our products. This is because it's a rather complex product, but its mode of operation must be fundamentally explained in order to properly assess its significance for the future of renewable energies. 2G Energy is the technology leader in so-called heat and power plants, CHP for short. In this technology, a gas engine drives a generator. On the input side, our gas engines can process virtually any type of gas that contains even a minimum amount of energy. That includes natural gas, biogas, all kinds of special gases such as landfill gas, mining gas, but also pure hydrogen. In this context, it should be noted that we are the only manufacturer in the world who already has a fully hydrogen-powered CHP in its regular product range. I'll talk more about hydrogen later, much more. On the output side, we have achieved overall efficiencies of up to a very impressive 98%, which is far beyond conventional power generation. Our machines provide electrical energy and thermal energy at the same time. The electrical energy is either fed into the public grid or consumed on-site. The thermal energy can be used in many ways. The easiest way, feeding it into a district heating network. However, this way is rather seldom. Our expertise lies more in on-site utilization, be it for high temperature applications in industry, be it as heating for real estate, but also in connection with absorption chillers or steam generators as used in hygiene sectors of hospitals and food factories, for example. With our know-how on both the input and output side, we strongly differentiate ourselves from traditional engine manufacturer. Companies such as Caterpillar, for example, usually concentrate on one type of gas or on only one application for electrical and thermal energy. We offer a power range of 20 to 4,500 kilowatt with an average size of 350 kilowatt per power plant. The traditional engine manufacturers are well above these size. If we now look to which industry we have delivered our CHP, we get three major areas: manufacturing industry, including trade, service, and energy sector. I've shown you here the main split of incoming orders in the last 12 months. Industrial customers account for approximately 42%, service approximately 9%, and the energy sector approximately 49%. Let's now turn to the competitive situation. Unfortunately, there are no good statistics for CHP units, certainly not on a global scale. The best that exists is a statistic published by the respected journal Energie and Management for the German market only. You should know Germany is the oldest and largest CHP market in the world, so it's therefore worth taking a closer look at the German figures. In terms of installed capacity, 2G is on the third place. In first and second place, INEO and MWM, but both also supply engines to other CHP manufacturers. Their numbers are to a certain extent double counted by these engine deliveries. So their importance to the CHP market in Germany seems too great. In fourth place is Tedom Schnell, a Czech supplier who took over a German competitor called Schnell. But obviously, they are still very busy with themselves, looking on the shrinking success in Germany. In 10th place is AB Energy. We consider AB Energy from Italy to be our most important competitor, which we also encounter again and again globally. Although 2020 was not their best year in Germany. In the original, the list includes about 25 to 30 companies, but obviously the importance of the companies is decreasing rapidly so that they hardly represent relevant competition for us. So, before looking on our extraordinary hydrogen competence, let's quickly look on 2G at a glance. We were founded in 1995 and are based in Northwest Germany. Our IPO was in 2007. Today, we have a market capitalization of around 500 million euros. Approximately 55% is in free float. For the current year, we are targeting sales of 280 to 310 million euros. In 2026, we will reach a turnover of 400 million euros. with which we aim to generate 8.5 to 10% of EBIT. Today, we are already operating based on equity ratio that exceeds 50%. All this is achieved with the help of approximately 650 to 700 employees who today work either in Germany or in one of the 7 international subsidiaries, or in home office, of course. Meanwhile, we have delivered about 7,000 CHPs in more than 50 countries worldwide. If you add up the capacity of all our power plants still in operation, you can see how important they are for the mainly European electricity market. Our power plants have an electrical capacity of about 2 gigawatt, which is equivalent to a nuclear power plant. For example, Forsmark 3 in Sweden provides 1.2 gigawatt. As just mentioned, the world's largest and oldest CHP market is Germany. Here in Germany, we see ourselves as the general market leader. But more important, we are definitely the global technology leader for hydrogen in CHP. So, to understand why a comparatively small company is now the world's technological leader in H2, we have to look back a little. For many years, 2G has been working with all kinds of lean gases of regenerative origin, including wood gas. As you can see from these photos, we are not the first to have worked with wood gas, but when people talk about wood gas, they're usually talking about the production of wood gas. The permanent and efficient use of wood gas, not only as a scarce resource, but also as an ecological and efficient method, is only mastered by a few companies. Why that? Wood gas can contain more than 40% hydrogen. This creates technical challenges. First, the mixture of air and gas is already explosive before compression. Hence, air and gas should only be put together inside the combustion chamber. Second, hydrogen is highly reactive and therefore attacks the material much faster than you could usually expect with methane. We have definitely professionalized the handling of wood gas to a recognized degree. The latest success was the selection of the CHP of the year. The leading magazine, Energy and Management, you know it already. In that magazine, a jury of experts choose a wood gas CHP from 2G as the CHP solution of the year 2021. But enough about wood gas. Our experience with handling air-gas mixtures above 40% hydrogen led to our first 100% H2 CHP. In 2012, an ambitious hydrogen concept was to be created at the new Berlin airport. And 2G actually delivered the first 100% H2 CHP already in 2012. As you probably know, the airport only went into operations after 10 years delay. As a consequence, the airport operator put all its attention, understandably, on smooth start. The extensive hydrogen concept was therefore never realized. Instead, the CHP plant that we delivered is now operated with natural gas. The project partner at that time were, by the way, Total, Linde, McFly, and us. However, the delay at the Berlin airport has not stopped us from continuing to believe in hydrogen technology and putting the corresponding resources into research and development, not without success. In 2018, we presented a successor model to the public, which was, of course, much improved. This model was quickly transferred into a whole series, so that today we are the only CHP manufacturer in the world to have H2 CHP units in the regular price list. But our innovative strength is not only driven by the pure spirit of research. Quite strategically, we have also developed the conversion capability of conventional CHP units to H2 machines. Today, we are the only manufacturer who can firmly guarantee that its CHP will be converted from natural gas to H2 if the customer wishes in the short, medium, or long term. So, what does our track record look like? Since Berlin, we have already sold and, to a large extent, delivered 12 machines. Further projects are already in the pipeline and will certainly be finalized in the coming weeks and months. You will find extensive information material on the internet about project number 1 in this list, as this project has received very high attention in politics as well as in trade press. In project number 1, our CHP was combined with the electrolyzer from Siemens. The same applies to project number 2, which I will present to you in a moment. So there it is. The Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Solar Park is a partially operational solar park in the United Arab Emirates. When completed, it is expected to have an installed capacity of 5 gigawatt. This would make it the world's largest solar park. The total investment cost is approximately 12 billion euros. The necessary electrolyzer was installed in cooperation with the state utility Dubai Electricity and Water Authority, the Expo 2020 company, and Siemens Energy. The hydrogen CHP was also installed by Siemens Energy as part of the overall package. We are very happy with this situation, as our H2 CHP has already reeled off hundreds of hours and has proven itself suitable for continuous operation under rather difficult conditions. And here you can see His Excellency, the Prime Minister of the United Arab Emirates, and Joe Kaeser, the CEO of Siemens at the time. And just as important, both look at a model of the 2G hydrogen CHP. The second project that I would like to briefly highlight is currently being developed with the University of the German Armed Forces. The university has ordered an H2 CHP in order to conduct research with it as part of its studies on sustainable energy supply. Of course, it makes us proud that public science is now also looking at this topic based on our innovation. The necessary hydrogen will be supplied by an AEM electrolyzer. This electrolyzer will be delivered by Enapta. Even though our H2 technology has obviously found acceptance in the market and in science, as just seen, the question still remains whether this technology also has the necessary backing in the political arena. You know the discussion about taxonomy. Is nuclear technology sustainable? Is natural gas sustainable? It seems that for a substantial transition period, natural gas is also considered sustainable. This is good and necessary because, as we know, there are not enough alternative energy sources if, in addition to the coal phase out, an accelerated end of natural gas were also demanded. This became very clear in the coalition agreement that the parties to the new German government concluded a few months ago. It is stated, in order to simulate the rapid addition of secured capacity and secure the nuclear and coal phase out, we will evaluate existing instruments and examine competitive and technological neutral capacity mechanism and flexibilize within this framework. These includes, among other things, secured renewable energy capacities, highly efficient gas-fired power plants with combined heat and power generation as part of the further development of the corresponding law, an innovative program to be able to stimulate H2-ready gas-fired power plants, also as coal-fired power plant sites, storage facilities, energy efficiency measures, and load management. So, these words are clear. We could not have expected more. What does the path look like in concrete terms? Well, there will be two phases. In the first phase, coal will be replaced with natural gas. In the second phase, natural gas will be replaced by gases or renewable energy. In technical terms, phase 1 is referred to as the fuel switch, and phase 2 as the content switch. Concretely, this means for us, with the end of coal-fired power plants, there's a need for clean gas-fired power plants. As I said, the fuel switch. And then these cleaner than coal gas-fired power plants are converted into emission-free H2 power plants. The content switch, as the experts call this second phase. An acceleration on the coal phase out is even more beneficial for us, as our decentralized CHPs can provide replacement much faster than large gas-fired power plants ever could, simply because planning approval and the delivery times take only a fraction of the time of corresponding large-scale power plants. As soon as enough hydrogen is available, natural gas will be replaced by this clean alternative. This consideration also explains why our conversion guarantee, natural gas today, hydrogen tomorrow, you remember, is of strategic importance. And of course, even a high number of decentralized CHP can be converted into hydrogen CHP much better than few but extremely large power plants. That's quite simply because a granular development is much more organic and market-based than a centralized conversion en bloc. You might ask yourself, can all these considerations already be seen in financial figures? To answer this relevant question, you can see the incoming orders of the last 4 quarters here. These figures only show orders for machines. Service is not included. So, with the overcoming of the shock paralysis, as I call it, in the wake of the COVID pandemic, that was end of first quarter, we are noticing a rapidly increasing interest in our products. This increase in orders is coming from home and abroad, and we expect this increased demand to continue for many, many quarters. Quite simply because dirty coal-fired power plants must be replaced by clean gas-fired power plants as quickly as possible. The prerequisite is that these gas-fired power plants can then in turn be converted to H2. 2G is the only CHP manufacturer in the world that has already proven that it can handle both phases of changeover, both the fuel switch and the necessary content switch. And this is reflected in an average growth rate above 40% over the last 3 quarters. What does that mean for sales and EBIT? First, let's take a very brief look at the last 5 years. Turnover grew by almost exactly 50% in the course of these 5 years. EBIT increased by approximately 200% in the same 5 years. More interesting, the upcoming 5 years. We are sure that sales will continue to grow. Last summer, we therefore communicated the new forecast for 2026 at 400 million euros. This forecast does not yet include the outcome of the federal election in Germany, because it was not known at that time, nor the infrastructure program in the USA, nor the outcome of the discussion on taxonomy. As soon as the first legislative initiatives of the new federal government in Germany become concretely visible, we will certainly revise this forecast. But currently, we are assuming that we will increase our sales by another 50% and double EBIT again by 2026. At the moment, we still assume that there will be a general increase in demand coming from home and abroad. We have not yet taken into account an extraordinary surge in demand due to the simultaneous phase out of nuclear and coal-fired power in Germany and potential bottleneck situation in energy supply in Central Europe and elsewhere as consequence. These effects, as well as manifesting desire for the end of natural gas, which would mean a boost in H2 CHP, are not yet included here. They therefore still represent potentials. Let me summarize. The general situation is favorable because there is a growing demand for natural gas CHPs that can reliably be converted to hydrogen. We at 2G are several years ahead of the competition, and we are certainly the technology leader worldwide in terms of H2 in stationary applications. Therefore, we believe a growth of almost 20% is possible in 2022. According to the current forecast, turnover should increase by 50% to 400 million euros by 2026. Today, our equity is already 50% and more. This will also remain so. For the future, we continue to expect stable cash flows as there's a traditionally down payment culture in power plant construction. In addition, the growing service business, which now accounts for almost 40% of turnover, provides us with predictable and stable cash flows. And finally, we would like to point out that the ISS agency has once again awarded us prime status in its ESG rating. Keep us on your radar screen. We combine fascinating green tech with a solid business model and excellent growth prospects. For further questions, I'm always available. Just get in contact with me. Thank you for listening.